Hi everyone, myself Surya. Today along with me, my team members Pratnya and Shweta will be joining to demonstrate the practical implementation of a project that is booting of Diskless workstation. Well, for the practical implementation purposes, we have chosen this lab. This lab consists of total 24 PCs, which we can see here. And these PCs are interconnected with one another via two 24-port switches, which are placed over there. Moreover, these PCs are connected with a Cat6 LAN RJ45 cable. The specification of this cable will be explained in the later part of the video. Moreover, the network speed provided is up to 100 Mbps. Well, now without further ado, let's get started with the demonstration, which will be taken ahead by Shweta, followed by Pratnya.
Hello everyone, I am Shweta. Now I will be showing you the network oriented information and configuration on the server side. So this PC we have used as a server, and rest all PCs we have used as the clients. So let me log into the server PC.
So as we can see here, it consists of 8 GB of RAM, i5 7th gen processor, Intel HD Graphics 630 and 1 TB SATA 3 hard drive with 3.5 inches form factor and 7200 RPM. We have used the 20.04.2 LTS version of Ubuntu, which is the latest release. Now let's view the network configuration of the server. Yeah. So as here you can see, we have set the IPv4 to manual, and likewise the IP for other client PCs is also set to manual. So the IP address of the server is 10.0.1.164, subnet mask is 255.0.0.0 and the gateway is 10.0.0.5. Now to boot up the multiple client machines, we need to specify the IP range within the configuration file of the DNS mask. So as you can see here, the IP range we have given is from 10.0.1.1 till 10.0.1.180, which will be active for 24 hours. Now let's have a look at the users created for the client machines. Well, for the demonstration purposes, currently we have created 3 users, but we can also create multiple new users at once if needed. Yeah. So as we can view here, these 3 users are admin, teacher and the student. Moreover, to tighten the security, we have given the sudo access only to the teacher and the admin. Well, now that we have completed with the server side configuration, let's try booting up the client machines, which will be taken forward by Pratnya.
Hi everyone, I am Pratnya. As said in the beginning, all the client PCs are connected with Cat6 RJ45 LAN cable. Speaking of its property, it supports a network speed of around 10 Gbps up to 55 meters, supporting a bandwidth of 250 MHz. Well, speaking of the client's PC specification, it has 8 GB RAM, i5 7th gen processor, Intel HD Graphics 630. Now, let's see how can we boot this client machine via network.
To make the client PC boot via the network, initially we need to make some changes in the BIOS setup. By changing the boot mode to legacy and ticking the checkbox of the onboard NIC, if not checked. Finally, giving it the first priority. Once all these changes are implemented, apply and exit the BIOS setup. Now, eventually the client PC will request an IP from the server, and in return the server acknowledges the specific client PC by assigning it an IP address to it. So, once the client machine receives the IP address, user will be provided with a menu screen which consists of 3 options, as we can see here. These are boot Ubuntu 20.04, install Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS and install Ubuntu 18.04.5 LTS. Well, now by choosing the first option, users can directly boot into the OS via the network. But if the user selects second or third option, they can conveniently install the provided OS into their base machine, eliminating all the traditional methods. So now we will select the first option. Now here we can see that the client machine is booting up via the network. Hence the client machine has been successfully booted up. Yeah, so now the screen which is displayed is known as Genome Display Manager. Well, we have made some minor modifications to the screen by hiding the usernames to enhance the security and by including the organization's name. Now, as said previously, we have created 3 user IDs, that is teacher, student and admin, where both teacher and admin are provided sudo access but the student is not. So, to check that, let's log into the PC as teacher. And parallelly, let's log in to the client machine as student. Okay, so now we have successfully logged into both of these PCs. So now in order to check whether a user has a sudo access or not, we must fire sudo su command and eventually we will get to know it. So now let's fire the command on this PC teacher, and hence teacher user has sudo permissions. Now let's fire the same command in the student PC. So here we can see an error message saying student is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. Hence, this activity will also be parallelly reported to the admin via the logs.
So now that we have finished exploring the first option of the menu, let's have a look at the remaining 2 options, that is installing the OS into the base machine. So let's have a look at that.
Now, for this purpose, we will be choosing this PC, assuming that its pre-installed OS has been crashed. Now, for an lab admin or an IT admin, it takes around 1 to 1.5 hours to completely reinstall a fresh operating system into a crashed PC. But by using the options we have provided, the entire process completes within 10 to 20 minutes without any hurdles. Well, the pre-installed OS in this PC is Ubuntu 18.04.5 LTS, as we can see here. Now let's try to completely install a new fresh operating system, that is Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS. Now all we need to do is to boot this PC via the network and select any of the second or third options as per the need. So here we are currently trying to install Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS. So let's select this option. So now by selecting this option, you may simply complete with the installation process. So as here we can see, we are performing the installation process. So now that the installation process is complete, let's restart the system. So as we can see here, the brand new version of Ubuntu, that is Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS, has been successfully installed. So now that we have winded up with this part, now let's have a look at the security measures.
To shield our system from security threats, we have used LTS version of Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS. In addition that, we have even secured our servers with firewall and open source antivirus and fail to ban. So let's have a look of each of them. So as said previously, for ensuring a strong level of security, we have configured our system with firewall, which can be accessed via both terminal and GUI. So we can see here that some of the ports that we have allotted for the server, apart from this, rest inbound connections will be blocked. Similarly, the antivirus can also be accessed both terminal and GUI, with which we can keep our system free from any viruses or threats. So, as we can see here that via the terminal we have scanned a particular directory and we have also obtained the corresponding results for that. This same thing can be achieved via GUI as well. Now, to avoid the brute force attack, we have made use of fail to ban service. As we can see here, the status of fail to ban service is active in the state. On top of the Ubuntu system uses HSA 512 algorithm to secure the user passwords. Now that we have completed looking at the security, let's have a look at the additional tools, that is Cockpit and NetData.
Well, to provide admin conveniency like admin dashboard, we have integrated the Cockpit software with our client machines. Let's have a look at some of its features.
Now, to get access to any client machine, the admin has to just type in the HTTP IP address of respective machine and 9090, where the IP address which we have used is 10.0.1.100, which is the IP address of that client machine. After entering the URL, the admin will be displayed with the login screen, as we can see here, where he needs to enter the relevant data. Once right credential is entered, the admin will be conveniently get access to each and every detail of the specific client machine, as we can see here, the overview, logs, storage details, networking details, etc. On top of that, the admin can also get a convenient remote access via the terminal provided. Well, this completes the cockpit. Now, let's have a look at the demonstration of NetData tool. To monitor the resource utilization by the client machine, we have integrated the NetData tool with our client machines. Let's have a look at its functions.
Well, to get access of any client machine, the admin has to just type in HTTP IP of the respective machine, which is 10.0.1.100:19999. After entering the URL, admin can view the reading of each and every component conveniently and in a more detailed way, as we can see here. So, this completes the overview of the NetData software and the cockpit.
So, as now we have came to an end, we will be concluding our project demonstration by booting up all the 15 PCs together. Well, this is all about our project. Thank you.